guys, welcome back to my read-along channel. Sorry it's been a little bit of a while, just work. So today we're going to read chapter 2, which is from page 13 until chapter 3, which is page 33. A little bit longer today, so sit down, get a cup of tea, buckle in for the ride. This is Jacqueline Wilson Candyfloss. Probably should have said that at the start, sorry guys. This is all Jacqueline Wilson's own work, just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. So without further ado, let's get going. Chapter 2. I cheered up just a little bit when I got to school. I loved Mrs. Horsfield, my teacher. She gave me a great big smile when I came into the classroom and said, "Happy birthday, Floss." She gave me an iced bun to eat at break time. She gives each child in her class a bun when it's their birthday, but mine was a special big one with a pink icing and cherry on the top. Rhiannon was looking at it enviously. She especially likes cherries. "Want half my birthday bun?" I offered. "No, it's yours," she said, but she looked hopeful. I gave her the biggest half of the bun with the cherry. "Yum," said Rhiannon, sucking it like a sweet. "Okay, open your present from me, Floss." She gave me a pink tissue parcel tied with pink ribbon and a special card. I really wanted us to go off together so that I could open my present privately, but Rhiannon seemed to want me to open it with everyone gathered around. She'd give me a proper shop-bought card of two girls hugging. It said at the top in pink lettering, "You are my best friend." I started to be glad that Margot and Judy and all their gang were lurking. "See," I wanted to say, "Rhiannon's my best friend." "Open your present, Floss. You're such a slowpoke," said Margot. She meant slow coach. She's got this irritating habit of talking in a fake American accent and using a silly American expressions. She thinks it makes her sound sophisticated, but I think she sounds plain stupid. I could make a long list of reasons why I can't stick Margot. She used to be ordinary. In fact, you can barely remember her back in the baby classes. But this year she's making out she's all grown up. She's always giggling about boys and sex and pop stars. Judy giggles too. She looks as babyish as me, but she's got an older brother who tells her all these really rude jokes. I don't understand most of them. I'm not sure Judy does either. I was determined to take my time, smoothing the satin ribbon, feeling the little knobs of my present under the pink tissue, trying to guess what it was, but Rhiannon was getting impatient too. "Hurry up, Floss. I want to see if you like it." So I pulled the ribbon off and tore the tissue paper and held the present in my hand. It was a beautiful bracelet made of shiny pink beads. "They're real rose quartz," said Rhiannon proudly. "They're really lovely," I whispered. I was scared they must have cost a lot of money. I'd given Rhiannon a bracelet for her birthday, but it was just a pink and blue and purple friendship bracelet that I made myself. I'd also given her a friendship-based bracelet braiding set and hoped she'd make one especially for me, but she hadn't got round to it yet. "It's like awesome," said Margot. "Let's try it on, Floss." She snatched it straight out of my hand and wound it round her own wrist. "It's my bracelet," I said. "Okay then, baby, I'm not taking it. I'm just trying it on," said Margot. You're trying it on, all right," I said grimly. You've got like the most amazing taste, Rhiannon," said Margot. "Where did you get that bracelet? I wish I had one like that." Rhiannon started going on about this jewellery shop in some arcade, not really trying to help me get my bracelet back. I knew if I asked, Margot would just muck around, making fun of me. I wanted to grab it right back off her horrible bony wrist, but I was frightened of breaking it. Susan shook her head at me sympathetically. She was standing right at the back, away from the others. She was new and hadn't really made any friends yet. People teased her because she kept coming top of the class and she had a silly surname, Potts. Well, Rhiannon said it was silly. She teased her too. Rhiannon was very good at teasing, or very bad. I wish she wouldn't. I begged her not to, but she wouldn't listen. Rhiannon bosses me about, but you can't ever boss her. But she is my best friend. "Rhiannon," I said desperately. Rhiannon held out her hand to Margot. "Give us the bracelet back then, Margot." Margot handed it over reluctantly. "There," said Rhiannon, winded it round my wrist and doing up the clasp. Her cheeks were delicate pink of the rose quartz. She obviously pleased her bracelet had been so admired. "What other presents did you get, Floss? What did your mum give you?" "Clothes and one of those pull-along case thingies and a kangaroo cuddly toy," I said. "A cuddly toy? How gross," said Margot. "Imagine still playing with teddies. What about dolls?" I blushed, holding my breath. Rhiannon had seen my Barbie dolls when she came to play, but prayed she wouldn't tell on me. "Come on, Rhiannon," I said, taking her by the arm. I want to tell you this huge secret. Wait till you hear what Mum told me. What, said Rhiannon, licking a dab of icing off her finger. Yeah, what secret, said Margot. You always have to create like a drama, Floss. Well, I guess this is pretty dramatic, I said, stung. I guess I decided to show her. I took a deep breath. We're going to Australia, I said. They all stared at me. Rhiannon looked particularly impressed. Well, you're going on a holiday to Australia? Well, I'm going on holiday to Orlando, said Margot. It's got Disneyland. Australia hasn't got Disneyland. It's got the Great Barrier Reef and the Bondi Beach and the Ayers Rock, said Susan, who had crept to the edge of the group. Though, actually, we should call it by its original name, Uluru. Nobody asked your opinion, Swatty Potty, said Rhiannon. She turned to me. So when are you going on this holiday, Floss? Any chance I can come too? I wish you could, I said. I was regretting telling everyone now. It made it seem too real. I had to explain properly. It's not a holiday, we're going to stay there for 6 whole months. Really? Yes, I said miserably. I don't think I want to. I like it here. I miss my dad so much, and I'll miss you, Rhiannon. I'll miss you too, she said, and she hugged me tight. I hugged her back. Margot and Judy made silly noises and stupid comments, but I didn't care. Susan hitched her glasses higher up her nose, gave a wan smile, and wandered off. I felt that Rhiannon had called her names, but I couldn't help it. I liked Susan. I wanted to be kind to her, but I knew if I started speaking to her properly, people would start teasing me too. I started to think about the Australian school during lesson time. I would be the new girl. What if everyone started picking on me? I was quite clever, but I didn't ever come top, so they wouldn't tease me for being swotty, would they? I had a perfectly ordinary kind of name, Flora Barnes. My initials didn't spell anything silly or rude. I didn't mind being called Floss or Flossie for a nickname. Rhiannon once or twice called me Flopsy Bunny, but that was when she was making a big fuss of me. I'd never ever find a friend in Australia like Rhiannon. You will stay my friend when I'm out in Australia, won't you? I begged her at lunchtime. And still be best friends when I come back? Yes, of course, said Rhiannon. She wasn't really concentrating. She was looking over at Margot and Judy, who were huddled up looking at some stupid pop magazine. They were giggling and kissing their fingers and stroking all their favourite boy bands. Rhiannon giggled too, watching them. You won't make friends with Margot when I'm gone, will you? I said anxiously. Give it a rest, Floss. Which part of Australia are you going to anyway? Sydney. Is that near Brisbane? That's where they make neighbours. We went to the library and found a big book about Australia. Wow, said Rhiannon, flipping through the pictures of bush and beaches and orange rocks and weird white buildings. You are so lucky, Floss. It looks fantastic. It didn't seem like a real place. It was all too bright and highly coloured and bizarre, like a cartoon. I looked down at the parquet pattern and the library floor and tried to imagine myself going down for thousands of miles and then bobbing out in Australia. I'd never quite got to grips with geography. I knew the people in Australia weren't really upside down, but it seemed a little odd that's all the same. We read a ballad about Australian called Ned Kelly in our English lesson that afternoon. He was a sheep thief and he ended up getting hanged. You better not steal my little lambs out in Australia, Floss, said Rhiannon. Mrs. Horsfield asked me to read a ballad about a tragic maiden out loud. I read it dramatically, making the tragic maiden weep and wail. Margot and Judy started snorting with laughter. Even Rhiannon smirked a little. I could feel myself blushing. That was very good, Floss, said Mrs. Horsfield kindly. You're very good at reading aloud. I'd always liked reading to my mum when she did the ironing or started cooking, but now she chatted to Steve instead. I tried to reading out loud to Tiger, but he fussed and fidgeted and kept wanting to turn the pages before I'd finished reading all the words. Now I want you to have a go at making up your own ballad, said Mrs. Horsfield. Does it have to be all daft and old-fashioned and tragic, said Rhiannon. It can be about anything at all, as long as it's a ballad form and tells a story, said Mrs. Horsfield. Everyone started groaning and scratching their heads and mumbling. Everyone except Susan, sitting by herself in front of us. She was scribbling away like anything. Look at Swatty Potty, said Rhiannon. Trust her. Oh, yuck, I hate this ballad lark. What have you put so far, Floss? The girl that sat in an aeroplane, watching the clouds with wonder, worrying how she'd get on in her new life down under. Down under what, said Rhiannon. That sounds stupid. Well, I know I want to say in Australia, but I can't find a word for it. What about whaler, Rhiannon suggested. The girl went ever more weepier and wailier because She was missing her best friend's Rhiannon. Now she was in Australia. There. It doesn't fit, Rhiannon. It's too long. Well, say it very quickly then. Now help me. Focus. So far there was a pretty young girl called Rhiannon who joined a circus and got shot out of a cannon. Hang on, inspiration. It hurt a lot when she got shot. That poor pretty young girl. It hurt a lot when she got shot. There, maybe I'm not such pants at ballads after all. Even though I don't show off in a swotty way like some people. Rhiannon put her foot up and kicked Susan's chair. Susan jumped and her pen scribbled right across her page. She sighed and tore it out of her exercise book. Then she turned round. If you were a little bit swottier, you'd realise that you'd written a limerick, not a ballad. Who cares what you think, Swatty Potty? You think you're ripped because you like writing this poetry rubbish. What have you put anyway? Rhiannon reached out and snatched Susan's spoiled page. Oh, yuck, what kind of daft drivel is that? What is she on about? Listen, Floss. She walked along the corridors, pacing each floorboard with care. She didn't step on a single crack, but no one knew she was there. She edged around the wooden fence, tapping each post in turn. She counted each one attentively, but she had a lot to learn. She tried to do maths and magic, adding all the sums in her head, but all the figures multiplied her loneliness and her dread. What kind of weirdo nonsense is that? And it's not a ballad either, because it doesn't tell a story. It's just a lot of rubbish about nothing. So boo-yah, boo sucks to you, Swatty. Rhiannon crumpled the page up and threw it at Susan's head. Susan turned round and chopped her hand quick on Rhiannon's shins. Get off, that hurts, said Rhiannon. Good, said Susan muttered. Now get your feet off my chair. Don't you tell me what to do, Swatty Potty, said Rhiannon. She leaned right forward on the edge of her seat, ready to kick Susan hard in the back. But Susan grabbed her by the ankles and pulled. Rhiannon lost her balance, and she shot straight off her chair and landed with a thump on the floor. She shrieked, Rhiannon, whatever are you doing? Get up and stop clowning around, said Mrs. Horsfield. Ouch, said Rhiannon. I think I've broken my elbow, and my wrist, and my bum hurts horribly. I think you'll live, said Mrs. Horsfield. It serves you right for messing about. It wasn't my fault, Mrs. Horsfield, said Rhiannon. She paused. She had a strict code about telling tales. Someone pulled me right off my chair. Susan kept very still. Said Mrs. Horsfield. She came over and felt Rhiannon's arm carefully. Rhiannon moaned and whimpered. I think you're making a fuss about nothing, Rhiannon, said Mrs. Horsfield briskly. Then she paused. She was looking at Susan now. However, it's very silly and very dangerous to pull anyone off their chair. Even if they're being incredibly provoking, I'm surprised at you, Susan. Susan said nothing, but her face went very red. I felt terrible. We'd got poor Susan into trouble. I couldn't concentrate on my ballad anymore. I kept thinking about Susan's. I wondered if she really went round counting things in her head to make everything turn out all right. Only they didn't ever turn out right. We were all horrible to her, especially Rhiannon. I edged closer to Rhiannon. Do you think we should maybe tell Mrs. Horsfield it was our fault, because we snatched Susan's ballad and made fun of her? I said, delicately. I said we instead of you. But Rhiannon was still outraged. Are you joking? She hissed. She really hurt me. My arm aches awfully. I bet it's broken, or at the very least badly sprained. Swatty Potty deserves to get into trouble. She's turned into a mad psycho girl, out to get to me. Oh, Rhiannon, you know that's not true, I said anxiously. Are you calling me a liar? Said Rhiannon. She sat up properly and looked at me straight in the eye. Whose side are you on, Floss? Do you want to break friends and go off with Swatty Potty and write soppy poems together? Yes. And I gave you the bracelet with real rose... Oh, sorry. I'll try that again. Do you want to break friends and go off with Swatty Potty and write soppy poems together? No, of course not. You're my best friend. You know that. Yes, and I gave you the bracelet with real rose-quartz stones, even though I really wanted it for myself. But I gave it to you because that's what best friends are for. Even though you're not even going to be here soon, as you'll be flying off to Australia. But I don't want to go. You know I don't. I'd give anything to stay, I said. Well, why don't you then, said Rhiannon. Why don't I what? I said, muddled. Stay here. Kick up such a fuss about what they have to change their minds. I thought about it. I'm not really very good at making a big fuss, I said. Yes, I know, you're hopeless, Rhiannon sighed, irritably. You're so gutless, Floss. You try to be nice to everyone. I felt wounded, but I reached out and hooked my little finger around Rhiannon's. Ouch, watch out, that's my sore arm. What are you doing? trying to make friends properly because you're my best friend in all the world and I love my beautiful bracelet and I really will try not to go to Australia. Anyway, we probably won't be going until the summer holidays and that's ages away. So let's even think about it now. I hung onto Rhiannon's finger and she grinned at last and hooked her own little finger properly round mine, and we vowed to make friends, never break friends. Susan had her head bent over her exercise book, writing her ballad out all over again. Her soft brown hair fell forward, showing the white nape of her neck. She sniffed once or twice, as if she might be trying not to cry. I still felt very bad about her, but there was no way I could comfort her, not in front of Rhiannon. I showed off my rose quartz bracelet to Mum when I got home from school. She was clearing out the kitchen cupboards while Tiger bashed saucepans at her feet. Oh, trust Rhiannon and her mother. They've always had to show off how much money they've got, said Mum. Hey, did you tell Rhiannon about Australia? I bet she was envious. Yes, she was, ever so. Oh, Mum, I'm going to miss her so much. You soppy old thing, said Mum, giving me a hug. I think it'll do you good to make some new friends. You let Rhiannon boss you around too much. I'd quite like to be friends with Susan, this new girl, but Rhiannon hates her. What do you think I should do, Mum? Shall I try to be nice to Susan even if it makes Rhiannon mad at me? I don't know, lovey. It's all a bit pointless, isn't it, seeing as we'll be in Sydney in 2 weeks' time? I stared at Mum. In 2 weeks, I said. Why didn't you tell me we were going that quick? Quickly, Flora, do speak properly. There didn't seem any point in telling you earlier. You'd have just got all worked up and excited and rushed around telling everyone. I thought hard. Telling Dad, I said. Yes, well, it's not really anything to do with him. He's my dad. Yes, I know. Calm down. Don't shout like that, honestly. You must know I was trying to be tactful to your dad. Steve's done so brilliantly to be given the chance to get an Australian branch up and running. He'll be earning twice the money. I just can't believe it. I felt like rubbing your dad's face in it because he's such a failure. Dad's not a failure, I said fiercely. Mum cupped my face with her hand. Oh, come on, Floss. I know you love your dad, and he's good to Dad in lots of ways. He's a very sweet, kind man, and I'd never deliberately badmouth him to anyone. But he's useless when it comes to business. Even you must admit that. He's in debt up to his eyeballs, and that awful cafe is fast running out of customers. I don't know why he doesn't call it a day and just sell up altogether. Dad wouldn't ever sell the cafe, I said. Yes, well, goodness knows what else he could do. Anyway, I just thank God I don't have to slave there anymore, said Mum. Oh, Floss, isn't it wonderful? She kissed me on the tip of my nose. Aren't we lucky girls? In 2 weeks' time we'll be stepping out of that plane into the glorious sunshine. She threw old rice packets and sauce bottles and jam jars with a thump, thump, thump into the rubbish bin as she spoke. Tiger accompanied her on sports saucepan percussion. You've got some serious sorting out to do yourself, Floss, said Mum. We're going to put most of our stuff in storage. There's no point keeping any old rubbish, though. It's time you chucked a lot of your old toys out. I suppose I could throw away my Barbies, I said. That's the spirit, and some of those old teddies. We'll make a start on your room tomorrow. I'll be at Dad's. Well, I'll do it for you. Now you better get dressed up for our birthday meal out. You can wear your new birthday clothes if you like. You get in the bathroom while I change. Tiger? He's not coming too, is he? I said. Mum looked at me. What do you think we're going to do with him, Floss? Leave him here and tell him to heat up his own milk and tuck himself up in bed? Oh, ha, Mum. Why can't he have a babysitter like when you and Steve go out? Because this is a family outing, silly. Now go and get shifted, birthday girl. I thought about Mum's words as I wiggled out of my school uniform and put on my new jeans and t-shirt. I couldn't ever have a real family outing anymore. It was all easy peasy when we were just our family, Mum and Dad and me. But now, when I went out with Dad, Mum was missing. And when I went out with Mum, Dad was missing. And I was stuck with Steve and Tiger instead. I stared out my bedroom window down into the garden. Steve had landscaped it himself and made all these pretty flower beds and a pergola and a pond with goldfish, but now Tiger was old enough to climb out of his pram. It was more like his own personal adventure park. Okay, I had my lovely swing in one corner, but Tiger had his own small swing and slide and pedal car, and his sand pit, and his baby bouncer, and his toddler gym, climbing frame. It was more like Tiger's birthday celebration than mine at TGI Fridays. He sat in a lordly fashion in his high chair, giggling and kicking his legs whenever any of the waitresses went by. They all ruffled his silly sticking up hair and tickled him under his chin, cooing and clucking. No one told him off when he ate his chips with his fingers or spilled his drink. Mum ordered a special birthday pudding for me with sparklers. Tiger screamed and squirmed so desperately to see them that they held them in front of him for ages. The sparklers had stopped sparkling by the time they put the plate on the table. I felt as if all my sparklers had gone out too. I know I shouldn't be jealous of my baby brother. He didn't commandeer the attention delivery. It was just very annoying all the same. That was what was so great about my weekends with Dad. It was just Dad and me. He treated me like his very special little princess. And that is the end of that chapter. We are on chapter 3. That is on page 33. Thank you again so much for listening. Until the next time, guys. Goodbye.